What's up, Star Trek fans? Welcome back to Star Trek Late Night. And before episode 8, we're going to go over the new trailer that got released and kind of talk about that, get a little hyped, because tonight, of course, is episode 8. I'm also going to divulge my corrected and I think final review ratings for this season, as if anybody really gives a damn what I think. But just know that before I show my ratings for each episode right now, I just like to disclose what my parameters are. I just about never give a 10 ever. I don't think I've ever give anything a 10. I think I've maybe given a couple of Star Trek The Next Generation episodes a 10 ever out of almost anything. So you're pretty much guaranteed to never ever see a 10 from me. I'm being really strict on that. I want it to be super rare, like a unicorn you've never seen before. You know what I mean? So 9.5, it's possible, but not a lot of those really out there either. 9s, they could happen, and those are when I'm just like bursting in my pants and things are perfect, whatever. So just letting you know that. And I want you to also know that anything at a 6 or higher, I always believe is something you should watch. So if I give something a 6 out of 10, I'm usually saying, yeah, you should watch it. It's got problems, but you should watch it. So I just want everybody to know that a 6 and above, is something that I definitely recommend watching, and is a thumbs up overall, a thumbs up. So those are my parameters. In Picard season 1 and 2, you saw many 3 out of 10s, 2 out of 10s, 4 out of 10s, 5 out of 10s, and things like that. So that's where we were at with Picard season 1 and 2, and with Discovery as well. So here we are, Picard season 3, and things you will see, man, they've changed. Episode 1, The Next Generation. Now, some of these ratings I may change around a little bit. One other thing I'll say about this season is this season is one of the most rewatchable seasons of Star Trek I have seen since I enjoyed watching Enterprise, really. I think Strange New Worlds has a couple of episodes that are rewatchable and that I like, but really since, Star Trek Enterprise or the movies, I haven't really wanted to rewatch any of Discovery or any of Picard until this point. So these ratings could go up a little bit potentially at some point, but we'll see. But for right now, it's good if you're a Star Trek Picard season 3 employee or worker or producer or whoever you are, or even, anybody on the crew or Terry Metalis. I mean, I would think that the good news is, from my point of view, is that I'm really positive on this show. I can't speak for other people and everybody else, but I really, really have enjoyed this show a lot. And I am 100% behind Star Trek Legacy happening with all these people involved. I can't believe that we're feeling this good about Star Trek right now. Episode 1, The Next Generation. I just moved myself. My bad. I'm crazy. Episode 1, The Next Generation, I gave it a 7 out of 10. A great start. It's a bit of a slow start, but a nice start to this. And there's a lot of payoff in it and hidden messages and stuff that you'll realize later. And it was a good start. And honestly, it probably is a better start if you'd never seen Picard seasons 1 and 2, and maybe you haven't even been affected by the new Trek stuff that's been so terrible that you felt anxiety over watching this. Like, am I going to get burned again? So had that not happened, had this been season 1 of Picard or Star Trek The Next Generation Resurgence, the movie, or something like that, we probably would have given episode 1 a higher rating, because you would have been like, wow, this is pretty good. Let's go. It's so good. Instead of being like, okay, it's pretty good, but I don't know. I'm not sure. That's what it suffers from. That's the only unfortunate thing is, this season was treated like, oh, it's the 3rd season. We kind of failed this, whatever. You take over, Terry Metalis. And whatever you do. And that's the terrible thing, because this is so special and beautiful. Like, it really is. And then episode 2, Disengage. I gave that an 8 out of 10. I think what set it apart from the first one is the little payoffs. Seeing Picard come back to himself again, he's my son, like all that stuff. It was so well done. I'm not going to sit here and review it. I'm just going to give you my ratings for the most part. Episode 3, we gave a 7.5 out of 10. Again, another good episode. So, right at that point, we got 3 thumbs up at this point. Something about the even episodes for me were more uppity, and so I enjoyed them more. No Win Scenario was wonderful. Some would probably argue this is maybe the best episode of the season. And it really was a very, very strong and well done episode, and pays off all 4 episodes, or 3 before it. So just a beautiful episode. No Win Scenario was 8.5 out of 10. There's probably people that give it a 10 out of 10, to be honest, because it's just so good. And it may be one of the best, if not the best, episode of the season. The next episode, episode 5, spoiler, we get Ro back, and we get that whole thing. And I thought there was some unbelievable moments in this one that happened, but it was a very consolidated, episode. 7.5 out of 10 for me. And then we got episode 6, The Bounty, which I gave another 8.5 to this episode, probably because of the nostalgia, all the fun things they rolled into it, but also that it really progressed the story in a fun way, and it made sense how it progressed the story. Not only did we get a lot of nostalgia that made sense, and we did get some, maybe like somewhat, some people would say unnecessary background berries or whatever people call it, but I thought everything was great. I love that in this series, they've included little canon things or non-canon things to people, little nods maybe to people who are, fans of certain books and certain other things, so that they feel almost like that stuff could be real or could have happened, but without fully officially canonizing it here in the series. They're just sort of winking at you like, yeah, maybe that is what happened, or maybe that could happen, or maybe that is true. So I like that. And also just you get to see Geordi again, the way he's handled, the way he handles everything with his daughters, the way the kids work together in the new cast and the old cast, and just another 8.5. So this ties episode 4, and both of these 2 episodes just sneak out ahead of episode 2 for me. So just a phenomenal episode, 8.5 out of 10 from me. That's one of the highest Star Trek ratings. You know what I mean? That's higher than the movies get from me. So that's pretty crazy. Then we get episode 7, which unfortunately episode 7 suffers from, it really shouldn't be an episode. It should be married potentially to the next episode. It feels like, because it's like it feels like it's a super cliffhanger, and it's very dark. So I don't know yet what's going to go on in episode 8 exactly. But from what I understand, episode 8 is the end of the act 2. And so if that's the case, then it feels like this was cut out and sandwiched. It was a very dark episode. It was shot very dark. There were some bizarre things said. But that being said, there was a lot of great stuff as well. I loved the Tuvok interaction and what they did there. I'm not going to nitpick the reasons how she figured it out. Some people are doing that. It doesn't matter. All that matters to me is the point of she figures it out, and that's what really matters. I thought this also delivered some interesting stuff, and it really sets up the interest in Jack and what's going on there even more. And so this episode, I think in the end, will end up maybe being better than a 6.5 out of 10, but it will be better once we see the next episode. So once we see episode 8, and then once we see an episode 9, but we have to grade these on each individual episode. And so therefore, I'm forced to grade it on an individual episode point. I'm still giving it a thumbs up. You know what I mean? And granted, at this point, because I like the season and the series, it's going to be really tough to make me give something a thumbs down at this point. This came close, but in the end, it still fit what we're doing here, and I liked it, and there was a lot of stuff in it that I'm leaving out here because I don't want to get into a review. But 6.5. So we'll see what's next for episodes, 8, 9, and 10. I've been told that episodes 8 and 9 are off to the races bangers. So I look forward to that, and I hope you guys do too. Also, this was episode 7. And it seems like the odd numbers are more setup episodes, or just have been more setup episodes. And like 1 is more of a setup, 2 has payoff, 3 is more of a setup, 4 has payoff, 5's a bit of a setup, 6 has payoff, and 7 obviously is a setup. And so does 8 have the payoff? Probably. So it seems like we're greedy for more. You know what I mean? Nowadays, I'm very greedy for more. I don't do well with waiting a week for stuff. I didn't do well with that back in the day, when that happened on Star Trek and in other things, but I really don't do well with it now that I'm older, and I'm like, come on, I got to work, and I got to do all this stuff. Just give me the next step. Like, I can't deal with this. So, and part of me, nostalgia-wise, misses the whole wait till next week, you know what I mean? And I think there are some shows that do that really well, and this is the first Star Trek that's ever done it really well, where it's like you're waiting for next week. But there are some episodes where it's a tough wait, and really there hasn't been one except for episode 3. At the end of episode 3, I was enraged. To wait a week was really rough on episode 3. And now I'm finding this to be also like that. Episode 7 has been the roughest. And so I think, therefore, the episode probably could bump up to a 7 later on if episode 8 is good and ties up what happened in episode 7. Ideally, I can tell right now that there should have been 9 episodes and not 10. Like, episode 7 should have probably been mixed with 8. And since 7 is one of the shortest episodes of the season, I'm assuming if 7 was, if you took the 40 minutes of 7 and mixed it to the whatever 3 is, or episode 8 is, 40 and 40, I don't know. But I guess you can't do that, and you got to have 10, and that's just the bottom line, and what are you going to do? So, but great stuff. Overall, I think that this averages out to being maybe an 8 out of 10 or a 7.5 or 7. It's probably like a 7.8 or an 8 out of 10. So probably right now, Picard Season 3 for me is around an 8 out of 10 overall, which is, better than some of the movies as far as the rating goes. So that is such unbelievable news to me. Like, I don't care what anybody else thinks of my rating. It's all your opinions. You guys may give it a 10 out of 10. You would think I give it a 10 out of 10 because I am fucking so happy with this season. Like, I want to hug Terry Metalis. And I want to go find Kurtzman and just harass him to bring this team back over this. But this is the best rating I've had for a Star Trek in a while, man. I really, really have loved this season so far. And hopefully the next 3 episodes are going to be, something amazing. That being said, we get a clip
Data
for next week. And we talked about this already, so I won't talk about it too much. But now it's not next week; it's tonight. So we're going to be looking at this tonight. It's Geordi talking to Data / Lore. It looks like he's trying to convince him, and I'm wondering if I've been saying this all season, but at some point, and obviously I said this before the season started. We all did that. Is Data going to fully go into Lore, and that's what's going to happen for a while? Are they going to end up bringing actual Data back? Are they going to? Is he going to? What is going to happen with Data? Is Lore going to go off with Vadic off the ship? Vadic is maybe escaping here or something.
and I know you can hear me.
So it looks like this next episode's going to be a bit dark as well. Like, we're going to continue kind of with this darkness of this episode. And it makes sense if this is the second act of the show, that this is this sort of dark era, and then we're going to go into other things in episodes 8, 9, and 10 potentially. So we'll see. But hopefully everybody is sticking along with it, because I'm sure that in the end there's a bit of a payoff. These scenes of Geordi and Data I can't wait to see it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And what are you looking forward to in episode 8 tonight? And what did you think of my ratings on the season? Leave it in the comments down below. This has been Star Trek Late Night, and I hope you guys all have a great First Contact Day.